Alright, so this is from previous notes that I had for therapy. I don't really remember who my therapist was at this point in time, but I'm gonna roll through these 6 points. Let me see. Yeah, 6 points. So the first one is about toxic positivity and opposite action. So you know me, I like being positive. At the same time, there's a difference between being positive and being toxically positive. I really truly don't think I need to explain the difference between being toxically positive and just positive. There's I can go on and on about the negatives about this world that we live in right now. At the same time, there's also equally as many good things as there are negatives, and so you'd want to try to focus on the positives without being neglecting, without just straight up neglecting the negatives that are objectively present in the world. And then, so I said toxic positivity and opposite action. So we just covered toxic positivity. Opposite action basically is whenever you're feeling anxiety, for example, or depression, and you got to put on a smile. I'm not experiencing anxiety or depression at this moment, but it's like if you're out to dinner with your friends and you really just want it to be over and get back to your house, get to your bed, but you just got to put on a smile and hope that your mind will change, and hopefully you'll be wanting to be in the moment with your friends, because you should have a good time with your friends, right? Have a good time all the time. So the second one is making convictions and sticking to them. For example, a conviction that I've made is that I believe in reincarnation. For example, I believe that the universal language is love, even despite all of the hatred and such in the world. Just look at, most kids are jolly, and then they grow up and the world just nom nom nom, eats them up and spits them out. But I generally think that life is a good thing, and I believe that reincarnation is a good thing. Those are just two examples of convictions that I've made in the past. I believe in God, for example, and that conviction is only growing more and more as I get older. In that previous clip about my convictions of reincarnation, universal language is love, and God reminded me of another point that I'm gonna make. So I'm gonna make 7 points. And this third point that I just remembered is a quote that was recommended to me by someone in my outpatient program back home where I grew up, and he said to me, "Will, I wish I could tell you it gets better. It doesn't, but you do," which I think is really awesome. Which is why I think you should respect elders, generally speaking, because they've lived more life than you have, and they basically, because of that, they probably should have more wisdom than you. And I've said this in previous videos, but just to reiterate about mindfulness and DBT, we got observe, describe, participate, one mindfulness, effectiveness, and non-judgmental stance. And if you want to, I've described each of those in a previous video. Yeah, I think they're pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. Alright, so another one is allow things to be good. I've also said this in a previous video. I'm just going to reiterate it once again. Just drill it into your mind. Allow things to be good. Accept your intrusive thoughts, but try not to revel in them or obsess about them. So just basically allow things to be good and try not to overcomplicate things whenever things are perfectly fine. And yeah. So a good Eastern tip of philosophy is about non-attachment. And so while I think having a steady routine is very good for you, I also think that you should once in a while change things up and do things differently. Just because even if you have a routine, there's going to be different things that pop up. I think you should make a conscious effort in addition to those things that just come up and change. I think you should also intentionally change things up a bit in your life. And so I'm speaking for myself. I recently just learned in the Enneagram that the numbers 7, 9, and 2 are the positive outlook group, if you will. So this is, this is from my perspective. I'm a 9 on the Enneagram. I know it's 7 and 2, and they both follow exactly this positivity that I'm talking about. So I wrote down, it's natural to be positive and spread universal love. Oftentimes we get distracted and caught up in the negatives. This is like a veil distorting reality. Many of our struggles stem from misunderstanding in the mind. So yeah, I think, we all have a purpose, and I think that, a lot of the times when we look at astrology or the Enneagram, for example, we can really dive deep into what our purpose actually is, and learn more about ourselves. And so for myself, I know that naturally I'm a positive person. So if I'm not being positive, then it's okay not to be positive all of the time. But if I'm more negative than positive, I know there's an issue, and I should look to the Enneagram or astrology to address what my weaknesses are and how to correct them to make it so that I'm more positive than negative, if that makes sense. So I covered a lot in this video. Hopefully you guys understood what I'm saying. If you guys want me to elaborate more about any of one of these 7 points, leave a comment. I appreciate you guys liking and subscribing to this channel. And yeah, have a good day, and peace.